Hold on.
First camera.
Okay, go.
We're running on the first camera, and now we've got the second one up, thanks to Andrew, who's doing the camera work. And Marianne, we wanted to do a short kind of what has happened, because it's been a whirlwind 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You unearthed the paintings.
Yeah, we almost killed one another.
But
it was fun, everybody.
What we had on the list was to go ahead and you've gone through the paintings and do a little priority list.
Yes.
So what was this is the one that struck all of us because it has such a contrast. It's and it's also one of the more finished and cleaner pieces, especially after you did a little more cleaning on it.
This just needs a little bit more cleaning, soap and water. That's all what I was doing on those. That's all it takes to get this stuff. Take a brush and I could go in the dark area. I did some of it, and each time I did more. It got more and more defined. But this one is the closest to being finished, and this is chrysalis. What is a chrysalis? That's something.
Like a cocoon.
That's the
butterfly comes out of the chrysalis.
Yeah, well, there's no butterfly coming. This would be going the other way. This is the
chrysalis descending.
Yeah, it's the crystallized world after an atomic bomb attack, when everyone who thought they were safe in their little caves or shelters discovers their skeletons. Yeah, it's the crystallized world after an atomic bomb attack, and I'm going to let your father or Andrew come up with a name for this. Yeah. Andrew really likes this one, so maybe he'll have an idea of a name. We'll throw it out, run out the flagpole and see.
For me, the thing that makes this a little bit more, because I see some of these paintings as more historical, definitely because of the content matter. This one has an enduring quality. I mean, we've all got, and I see immediately the skeletons in the closet, but we're in the crypts, we're entombed, and we're separated. We each have these.
Some have hung themselves, some have been hung, some are just dead piles. Yeah. They died by hanging themselves, suicides, and some died sitting, starving, or radiation poisoning, whatever.
So that is the historical context to this, and it's wonderful starting to see it clean. And you used a little soap and water, just a very light hand soap.
I used that scrubby thing of yours too, because that I could get more stuff off with that. I could have more control. Okay. Actually, I used the paintbrush to coat it with the soapy water in the dark areas, and then I used your pad a
sponge pad.
There's sponge pad, yes, to pull the soap.
Okay, and this does have a masonite.
Yeah.
And for me, would you want me to then, for priority, would you want me to keep cleaning this or put this aside?
I would put this one aside.
Okay.
Because it's yeah. Yeah.
Is that a good place for this, or should we move over here? I guess we'll move here.
We'll switch.
Or I can put this in front. Okay.
Yeah, since I got here, I have more muscle and I can lift this now. I have gotten very strong being here, being slave-driven by certain people around here whose names we will not mention.
We are not slave drivers.
No, actually, a lot of it's, just working on this stuff.
Okay. So this is the Uncle Sam, and it has quite a bit. It looks like it was
needs a lot of gluing. Yeah,
there's a lot of gluing that has to happen. And we saw when Marianne first came, we visited a Russian friend who has restored old paintings from the 1800s even and 1700s. She taught and took classes in school and has done restorations. And she suggested a glue that is a combination. It's a traditional combination of a little bit of honey, a little bit of gelatin, which is the glue. The honey makes it slightly flexible, and water warmed. And you put that on over tissue paper and very carefully iron it at an extremely low heat. and the glue is absorbed into the paint. And that is a traditional and completely historically accurate, although these were in the 60s. You painted these in the 60s?
Yeah, they've been dragged around from pillar to post.
But that's the process that we would do.
Well, my recommendation from working on those over there would be to use that delicate glue with the tissue paper after you use the Elmer glue to get these big things, because that, if you did that with hers, you might go crazy. I'm just running up the flagpole, because the Elmer's glue does the job.
Yeah.
It gets it down. Yeah, it gets it down, and it's very easy to work with.
Right.
Your father could work with it. You know, he was able to use it because it's got the thing.
So the historical method, traditional method, would be layers and layers of this glue, and it actually gets sucked into the paint and fixes it. It re-glues it, because the base of whatever you use, the gesso, has basically kind of disappeared over time. The glue has disappeared from the paintings. But it does take a lot of layering, and so we're doing a little
and overpainting.
Overpainting. We're not doing the duct tape, but we are doing the Elmer's glue short
just
version
for
the big hunks. And we thought long and hard, and we decided that this would be okay to do.
Yeah.
Because they're not the Mona Lisa.
And don't tell Olga.
Don't tell Olga. So this one is more of a priority, Marianne?
Yes, because it deeply needs the...
So any of the paintings that have more radical damage would be priority, just to fix them?
Like those guys don't.
Okay.
They're pretty finished. And you know, if God would only send me the middle panel of all the people marching up the Golden Gate Bridge with signs on them, and you know, but those are finished. And right now, I guess they're 2 standalones until such time as I can, you know,
get the middle.
The middle one would go in.
Make
another middle one, yeah.
Yeah.
That explains that these two led to that.
So these can be put aside until spring when Marianne returns. We're trying to prioritize which ones I might work on to fix them and to not get even more damaged. So
these would go
put
here.
These back.
Yeah, and that's your father. And when as a young man, when he had, you know, bushy afro, he had an afro, and it's terrible likeness. So, you know, my first inclination was just to overpaint it, but rethinking it, I'll look at it and I'll think about it some more.
This might also be, unless you've got something going in the background, it might be something, if you did want to save it, that Carla could look at for making a little smaller.
And maybe she can find the original photo from which that came, that's what that came from, a picture that your mother and father had, and I do not know what happened to that picture. It's a photograph, a photo of your father from that time. And Carla might have that. It's the sort of thing, you know, she might have.
So,
and there's Pinchin' and the Pig.
Pinchin' and the Pig that Marianne dragged around everywhere, reinvigorating it with life. And a lot of work was done.
Oh, you know, see, now when just quickly, let me interrupt and say that this one needs exactly what I did that it needs to come off, and it needs to be glued down, and Elmer glued and flattened before anything more can happen. Because you and I cleaned this, we did our best.
Right.
But now it needs to go flat and be removed from these stretcher bars.
Okay, and so this one will also, get, because it's not falling off in big patches, this would get the Olga honey gelatin glue, layers of it on, to refix the paint to the canvas. And this will be taken off its stretcher and flattened as much as possible and put on a piece of masonite board.
Yeah, and having looked at it, you know, I'm beginning to see that, you know, I don't know what happened there, why I did that, because this has got to be darkened, but I can, you know, there's his eyes darkened, and this has to come out, and
so this will be, so once it's re-glued, it can be reworked. You can go
Yeah,
back into
yeah,
it and
yeah.
take some other things out that were going on in the overcoat.
Because
when
he
you
should
saw
look
it.
good in that pig. I mean, he looked good, and the pig was great with those.
And this is the one that we're going to sell.
Yeah, oh, it's worth a fortune now that his book is coming out. Yes. And the movie, oh God!
The movie alone around the painting.
Yeah, now we
So
don't want
let's
to
get
look
this,
at the...
let's just go, this has been in the background, so
Yeah.
what's going on with this, Marianne?
Oh, this one is Disaster City, but this is the golem, and everybo's on strings,
right, the
including the
strings.
golem coming down. And it needs to, here's the evil general and the evil businessman, and there's Beatles lyrics in the background sloshed around. And this looks like I spilled something over it, I don't know what. But it's okay, because there's the golem with his big hand, and there's the war machine with the Heil Hitler figures walking around, down, falling off down below.
So my vote on this one would be to just put it aside
I think you're right.
for now, and
We
come
could-
back to
yeah.
it in the spring.
Should we move it to the place where it's to go?
It's,
Move it back
no,
there.
we're fine, we're
Okay.
fine, I can do that.
Okay.
And then the one under,
Oh, there's Mimi. This one's better. This
that
one's
one,
more fun.
that one is more
You might be
interesting to
happy
me.
to, yeah.
This golem one, I don't know, that's.
Yeah, it's got a lot of work. It's going to take some time. You know, clean. I got to do cleaning and blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
That one definitely needs to be in a huge artist's loft or
I need a big
rich
space
person's
to work on
loft
it.
in New York, and then they can live with it.
What, you don't
This
have to
one,
Yeah. Now
This
that one I
one
love
I
because
like.
that is Mimi Farina. And I had a photograph of hers. It doesn't look like her now, but she's got her wing, she's got her guitar. And see, what has disappeared is the first painting, which had Richard disappearing off here after he died. It was taken from a photograph also. And she was standing unhappy in the background. And here is, I actually saw her later when she began singing again. And she had recovered, you know, from being a widow. She was such a young
Mimi
girl.
Farina was
Mimi, yeah.
Joan Baez's
Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so the birds are happier here. You know, the red birds, their happiness. They're not the blue birds of happiness, but I think I must have had a lot of red paint. It was cheap.
So this would be another one I wonder, I mean, it's nice.
This one needs cleaning, first
It
of
just
all.
needs cleaning.
It
for us.
desperately needs cleaning. But it's much better definition. You can see the forms are much clearly defined, and I like this. You know, this is. I mean, the lines are great. The hair. So
I think that's
Clean.
worthwhile doing
Cleaning.
major cleaning.
yeah, soap and water.
And it doesn't look like the glue is. It looks in pretty good condition.
This one's not
so I
falling
don't-
apart.
It's
yeah.
not falling
There's no
apart.
paper underneath.
Ah.
There's your secret there.
Attention,
Don't
students.
put paper underneath.
Painting students, no butcher paper as underlayment.
Not a good idea.
Yeah, and avoid the plaster as underlayment also. Just so if you want your paintings to last forever.
Oh, God.
This
Well,
one,
This is just part of a triptych. The two other, and I think I was fed up by the time I was trying to figure out what to do with it. You know, like here are the people exploding on top, and there's the world on top exploding. Yeah,
that was
and
so fun.
you know, this one just could use some cleaning.
But this is not. Is this the paint that you, or is this another underlayment?
That's the stuff I used. Gesso.
Yeah,
Gesso.
you just
To get cheap white, to
right.
overpaint. This
To
is
overpaint.
for overpaint, yeah, to
Okay,
overpaint.
so this one
And
could
this
maybe
one's the
go
same
aside.
thing, it needs to come off the frame and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
we'll set this aside
Yeah,
for
yeah,
spring.
yeah,
See
yeah.
how enthusiastic you are.
Yeah, well, one day at a time.
That's
One
right.
day at a time.
That's right.
There's my ex-husband Chuck Baumbach. Oh, yeah, there, yeah.
And he's
Yes, he was nice looking when he was in his 30s. He's gotten very dirty. This one really needs some cleaning. But I was starting to try to be a sculptor. That's where you and I have our, I really wanted to. And this is paper buildup. Like you can feel it right there.
yeah.
So this needs glue work, cleaning. Lots of cleaning. And I would put this off. And this is where we love this texture. That's the owl with the upside down head. and you can't see, you know, it may be not, you know what I think this is just, it isn't mold. It looks like mold, but it isn't. But I did some, see, here's the head, there's the eyes of the owl, and his head is on upside down. I think I just started putting something over so I could overdraw and overpaint.
Okay, so this one can be off to the side?
Off to the side.
Okay.
And those, I mean, those two also, because that's take it off the frame, you know, this one, take it off the frame, get it flattened.
Okay.
You know, these are this is the triptych. Should we take a picture of them now, so it's flat? Put that one next to that one.
Yeah.
And it's really, you know, they all, when you get them together, you can see.
These were the ones that you took off the hinges. You and David took them off the hinges.
No.
Oh, these
this
ones.
is not.
Oh, right.
This is an earlier one than that one.
Okay.
This is an earlier one, and it's. I think the one in the middle. There's a piece of blue that tells me that this isn't. They don't go together there. It may be that that one goes over here, and the one with all the white on it. See. Yeah, and it's a bird of ill, big bird of ill omen, huge. This is a Tyrannosaurus, big bird coming down on the sky. Yeah, oh, that's where it goes, because there you see the bird's wing is continuing. It's a purple moon, and the buildings are, I know exactly what to do with this. I just have to clean it, take it off, flatten it out,
okay,
and
so
clarify.
This is worth
if
going
you can clean
for.
it,
Yeah.
and take the
And
stuff
I like
off.
the colors on this. This has got that, again, it's got that real clear...
Yeah. When it gets cleaned up, you'll even see more colors.
One of the things that's interesting about your paintings to me is they have kind of a archaeological feel to me.
Yeah.
Stratifications of
Yeah.
different soil, of overlayments, of kind of historical or archaeological timelines. So that appeals to me because I've thought about that in my own work, with that representing different kind of layers of culture and
Erica, what I realized just looking at this is the precursor to the skeletons.
Yeah.
The finished skeleton. Because, see, these people are still alive down there in the cave, and they're watching TV, and the radiation hasn't killed them yet. It's killed the people up above, but not these. So it's the precursor to the skeleton, where they're skeletonized and they are dead. Just threw that in.
Nice, yeah. Good uplifting subject matter.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, I tell you, I was so happy in the 60s. Oh boy. Yeah. Didn't do enough drugs.
If you had done more drugs, you would have been.
I probably wouldn't have painted these pictures. Yes.
Peace signs.
But boy, I love the texture. You know. Ooh, you get that.
Yeah, the texture.
That's where I know you're going to help me with that.
And I like your colors. I like your colors. I like all that. Okay, so here's another one.
The other Uncle Sam.
And this would also need to be taken off
the stretcher.
The stretcher.
Flattened out.
This one, I really like this face here.
Yeah.
What you've done there.
He's the foundation.
Yeah.
He's the poor foundation that holds up all the ship of state.
I like this one. I like the lines that go through it. The movement. It's so full of movement. Life kind of. You can feel
and his little red kissy lips on Uncle Sam.
Yeah. I think that one definitely would be worth doing work on.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you didn't go into this one at all, though?
No, haven't. It needs the whole. It needs what I did to the triptych, you know.
Right. It needs a little bit of gluing. And off the stretcher, flat, etc.
And you know, that's the end result of all of this, is to get them laying flat, so that, because that's what Olga said, they've got to be flat before you can rework them.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and here's my favorite. I love that face, isn't that? Those faces are just adorable.
Yes, I like the face.
Yeah. Oh, her face is great. There's grief. There's grief, and there's grief. They're mourner. And they're standing, what it says, they're standing on peace, which is tongue-in-cheek, of course. And this is taken, it was, what's the word where you stimulated, the germ for this was a newspaper article, a photograph during the Vietnam War of a woman running down the street carrying her husband's body bag. and screaming like that. And that's what that is, you know. I mean, you didn't see the skit, but yeah, that's what it's about. The horrible grief of losing somebody you love in war, and the horrible grief of losing someone you love anytime, anywhere. It's hard, yeah. But I do like this one. And it needs cleaning, needs some more bringing out of the word down, the structure at the
so
bottom.
where is it on the priority? Because it doesn't look too bad. Middle? Okay.
Yeah, clean, you know, clean. This one doesn't, it's not on the stretcher bars, it's on masonite, so this is a lot easier. You just need soap and water.
Yeah, and we should talk about because Olga had also said if you do not gesso, but if you do an overcoat, not necessarily lacquer, but some kind of sealant.
You're absolutely right about that sealant, because even when some of those paintings are wet, you know, then it looks like you've got varnish on them, and the colors.
And I think that it would help preserve them a little better. It would at least make them easier to clean in the future, and it would keep the colors more vibrant. But I could talk to Carla about that too, because she, for a long time, didn't want to seal her paintings. She fell in love with that matte kind of quality, but now she's sealing them because it's something. It looks finished. Yeah, it looks more finished. It's more finished. Okay, so this is kind of here.
And this is joy, joie de vivre. I must have come out of my depression. I must have been on drugs. Finally. Yeah, I think we're almost to it, you know? Here, put this one over here. And I'll look behind. You can speak about this while I look behind here. If there's anything here. No, that's it. Oh, hallelujah.
Right. This one I'd like to see cleaned, definitely. And the glue doesn't, it seems
there's no paper.
There's a little bit right here. A little right here where it needs to be glued. I think just cleaning it.
Yeah, that will help.
And waiting till spring and you can see. Yeah. I mean, you might consider, I suppose, again, well, it's the four together. I suppose you could think about making them smaller canvases if you wanted, and having them. I think it's all. I think a lot of the idea of cutting them
something
up
easier to
and
handle.
saving is kind of where you're going to hang them. What are you going to be doing with them?
Ask Carla what she thinks about it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Carla might have some suggestions there.
Yeah,
because when I look at it, I can't quite see how they, like if you broke it into three, this person's going to get cut, and that one's going to get cut. So it would be a little difficult.
That's a pretty good size, though, for a house. But that's part of the thing that I come up against is if I create something that's larger in sculpture, then if I'm the only one storing it, I have to figure out where to store it. And if I were to offer it to a friend, if it's to hang it, if you're going to sell it, then someone's going to come along and think about their space too. It's kind of it's verging on the sofa art quandary.
A good photograph from him would help, because with a photograph you can put it on the computer and play around with doing make the cuts. Yeah. And perhaps do some redrawings.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think we're good on that. The ones that you did the most work on,
they're being flattened. Yeah, Diana walking is in there, one of the Uncle Sam's is in there. I'll get out of the way because that is, it's not heavy, but you need a lot of room to negotiate.
Do you want to grab the other side and we can just hold it up?
Oh, great idea.
So,
cool. Yeah, we can let it slide down a little bit so we cover the print there. That's better. And then we can hold it here at the ends that are going away.
So this was re-glued in sections. You did the owner's glue thing.
Yeah.
And there was quite a bit of re-gluing, and it looks a lot better. And it has been taken off the stretcher. So it will be flattened out and put on masonite. And then the final thing the final gluing will be the honey gelatin warm water over the tissue paper, and then the masonite, and then do more of the gelatin thing so that you could work on them if you want. And there are 3 of these. They're the triptych. And they're looking so much better. Yeah. Already with the cleaning it's brought out. I mean, it's incredible.
I was talking, I think with your father yesterday, saying, when I looked at these buildings in the back, I realized they came from the play Our Town, that David Seidler was the narrator for in Cornell. They had a beautiful backdrop there, you know, where they showed the town in the back screen and the houses raising above. And he did a great voiceover for that. Do you remember who wrote Our Town, the playwright for Our Town?
Is it Ibsen?
No, it's an American. I think it might have been Sherwood Anderson. Okay. At first I thought it was Dylan Thomas.
No,
but I don't think so. Your father thought it was Sherwood Anderson. TBD, it doesn't matter. But I realized that's where I started getting these, buildings poking up and exploding behind. It was from that backdrop of that play.
You have a nice, I don't know if nice is the word for it. I like how you simplify things. It almost seems like it's just, I don't know if you did a lot of sketching when you were younger or what. In tons, because it looks like it. It looks like you spent a lot of time doing studies and sketching because the lines are so sure. What looks kind of like a little haphazard, when you get closer, the details on these, I know what kind of line that is. I know how it is to hold a pencil or have some paint, or with sculpture with the clay, and just put it down and you're sure of that. And that's one of the qualities I really love about your paintings, Marianne.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, in cleaning, I began to be more sure about this is where I want that line to go.
Yeah.
And I want to reread what you said about the edges of things. And,
the tension.
The tension of the edge of things, yeah. And now we will get, yeah. See, oh, here comes Diana. And I did clean her somewhat, and I got another crack fixed. She had a big crack in her. I'll take this and put it behind Andrew.
And Diana's been more cleaned, and she could really... I think she could really do with more gluing and rework a little bit if you wanted on. There's still some paint blobs there, or something. But basically just the lacquer, a finish.
An easy fix, Andrea, for some of the, right now, everything is, excuse me, here we go again. An easy fix for some of this is to just get lots of blue washes in the background, because the blue background is dirty. It's not clear, it's not clean. And when that gets clean and clear, then it'll bring out the trees and her figure.
It would pop those out. Because we were talking, you were mentioning that you wanted to work more with the dimensional foreground, background. And that's where we were talking about the tension. Because it's in the line of the edge where all of a sudden it'll come out at you or retreat.
And Diana's beautiful. Her face is lovely, and she's peaceful.
This one I think is one of the most radical color-wise for cleaning. This just really popped it out.
It started to become Technicolor. See how big that crack was? I mean, it's better now, and it still needs more gluing, but that Elmer's glue. Thank you for the Elmer's glue. Yeah, Birds of Ill-Omen. That's the name of these 3 panels in a way. They're Birds of Ill-Omen. And these guys are,
you would not want
to be in the same space with them. No.
Not with 5 foot tall.
No.
Angry cranes is what I think of them as, angry cranes.
Yeah, we're starting to think about pterodactyls and, you know, prehistoric birds that scare the hell out of you.
I think for the official presentation as a gallery, we need to definitely get something other than pink insulation.
I'm kind of becoming fond of this. I only wish it were a little thicker, you know, a little wider.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So this is the
Lyndon Johnson
Lyndon Johnson
character huddling in the fire. Yeah.
triptych, and you can see because it's been cleaned somewhat. Did you do some?
Yeah, it started really cleaning his
the
face.
eyes. So many of these paintings have it in the eyes. That sadness and kind of there's kind of a regret, or
and he's just hanging on to
he's
his
lost.
Yeah. And so, there they are again, the birds. This one sort of looks like I'm going to make a beard, you know, a Ho Chi Minh kind of beard coming. More lines down here coming out, and the white, you know, the dark here and the white lines going up there.
Angry
he almost
swords.
had a tear coming out of his eye.
So was the Ho Chi Minh? These are kind of just the whole conflict with the Vietnam.
I think it was the beginning of it. This fear of annihilation came from the Bay of Pigs, when Seidler and I, we actually were starting to figure, where do we get our cyanide pill? Because we really, you probably weren't even alive during the Bay of Pigs, but everybody felt any day now the bombs were going to fall. You know, the Russians and the Americans were going to start throwing stuff at one another over Cuba, and we were living in San Francisco, probably when your mom and dad were living there too, and we were just, you know, getting ready to go out and get cyanide pills, because if it happens, there's going to be radiation. We either die we'd be lucky and the bomb will hit us directly, because, you know, San Francisco was a major metropolitan area. It was one of the targets of choice for bombs going back and forth. So we were just about getting ready to do that and prepare for that when it got settled, it got resolved. And I think it was the Kennedy brothers that were very instrumental in bringing conciliation. So we didn't have to go by the cyanide. But that was the beginning of making it very real in my mind. So glad to still be alive.
Well, yeah, so glad they resolved that issue.
Is there any more back there?
No, this is it.
This is it? Oh, thank you, God. Andrew, I bet you're getting tired of standing there. He's getting zen. He's meditating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got priorities. We have this one. We have some gluing. I have some gluing, and you think that you'd like, if I want to do with the ones you've taken off, the stretchers, if I wanted to get some masonite, we would do research on that.
Yeah.
And go forward with Olga on figuring out how to fix them onto masonite.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty good, and I'm working on the honey gelatin.
Yeah.
So, and we can get into exact details, but I think this is great. 2 weeks and you have done...
I did something.
Marianne's been out here in the studio pretty much every day doing this. Every day doing this. It's been incredible. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to see that there is a way. There is a way to get it done. Yeah. And have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting your father involved and out the door, and that's been good too. So, yeah.
I think we're good. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Erica. And thank you, Andrew, for being patient and doing this. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it. Thank you.